our recommendation, if governments want to have more control over online speech, is to pass laws, to have that be very cleanly and clearly defined such that we can implement it.
Yeah, nah.
Please don't think I take this lightly, and I don't. I think calling for people's jobs is extraordinarily risky. It's not necessarily the world I want to live in, where simple disagreements lead to people getting fired. And that goes for both sides of whatever political aisle you may be on. But I will say, I believe that it is now time for Susan Wojcicki to go as the CEO of YouTube, unless she, I don't know, has some serious conversations with us, her employees, tries to understand what we have going on here and what the struggle is, and make some real admissions, because I think it's pretty clear now that the you in YouTube, us, is irrelevant. Susan doesn't care about us. We're only the ones propping them up, making them billions of dollars in ad revenue every year. But Susan Wojcicki and YouTube themselves care far more about the corporate brands and the message and government interests than they care about what made them big in the first place. I mean, I don't know how more out of touch you can be than being Susan Wojcicki and literally giving yourself a free speech award. Remember that? The Freedom Forum award ceremony, sponsored by YouTube, gave Susan Wojcicki an award. These are your employees, by the way, I should point out, Susan. A video with 222,000 views has 256 likes and a total right now of over 68,000 dislikes. Now, board of directors, do you care about us? Yes or no? Because there's your real-time employee satisfaction survey. Susan may be a very nice woman. I've never had a chance to talk to her. I think that she could gain a lot to having conversations with more regular YouTubers, not brand TM YouTubers who have 20 million subscribers already and have already succeeded and pulled up the ladder behind themselves. She would benefit greatly from stopping worrying about talking to the right color creators or the right political creators and talk to more actual people who are on the site grinding away every day and understanding how to help them, because YouTube isn't going to be the dominant platform forever. It simply cannot be that way. You have platforms like Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey gaining steam. BitChute, it's not uncommon for me to get 3, 4, 5, 6,000 views on a video. Those are people that have said, bro, I like you, I like your content, but I'm not watching it on YouTube. That's not a small amount of people. The right creator could that's almost like getting to the point where you could make a living on that. You know, if you're getting, you know, if they financially support you. And my experiences, people that watch on alt platforms are far more likely to want to do that. I mean, yes, YouTube's obviously not going to close or go away, but its market dominance simply cannot sustain if Susan Wojcicki continues to make decisions in the fashion that she is. This is a woman, like I said, that literally gave herself a free speech award. It doesn't get more hilarious than that. I mean, I'm not kidding. Seriously? YouTube doesn't care about YouTube gaming. They keep paying all these big streamers to come over here. Dr. Disrespect, Dr. Lupo, Tim the Tapman. What is it? It's a short-term retirement plan, because discoverability, by the way, has been terrible for years on YouTube, and they refuse to do anything about it because they want to make sure that the brands TM serve higher than regular people. Well, guess what? Brands TM generally don't stream, which means that people could actually find new viewers if you invested any amount of time into just cloning the Twitch homepage. Why can't YouTube do that? DLive, Trovo, and like all these other live streaming websites that have popped up have no problem doing that on launch. Yet YouTube keeps telling me that they care about live streaming, and they keep paying these huge streamers millions of dollars to come over here, and they never grow. Has Dr. Disrespect streams gotten any bigger since he came to YouTube? Nope. He's not growing his channel. The best thing he's got is his VODs and his 10-minute videos, which he was doing anyway. I think if you talk to him privately, he would say, well, you know, at least I have a platform, I suppose. You know, if you're Tim the Tap Man, you probably took, you know, a couple $1 million cash to come over here, so you don't care anymore. Dr. Lupo, same thing. These creators that are coming over from Twitch, they don't care. They got paid. They got enough money to retire just to come here. But you still can't come up on YouTube. Name a streamer that got big on YouTube streaming. I can't. Maybe there's one. You know, name one that got big on Twitch streaming. How much time do you have? Thousands and thousands of creators have gotten big there. And it's not that people don't want to watch videos on YouTube. It's that YouTube doesn't care about live streaming. It's like, they're like, woo, it's been 3 months and now you can do gifted subs. Whoopee! Who cares about gifted subs if nobody can find you? Like, why are they ignoring that so obvious, this like obvious fact? And now, you know, that on top of, by the way, you know, YouTube not putting regular YouTubers' videos in the search results. I mean, I have to literally beg people to subscribe. And I think the active people subscribing is the only thing that actually ever gets my channel recommended. So, like, I know that I get your emails and people email me and they're like, bro, it's so pathetic that you beg for subs. I have to. I literally have to. Because YouTube won't serve my videos any other way. It's always the same thing. Look, let's test it. If you're watching the video right now and you're not subscribed, consider just taking the 5 minutes, if you don't have an account, to create an account, or if you already have an account, subscribe. And watch. If there's like a 3,000 sub boost today, I guarantee you my videos start getting served out in the algorithm again. It happened 2 weeks ago when I was getting 1 million views a day. What happened before that? Really nice sub growth. I didn't gain a lot of subs during those views, but it's like only that is like my hack to finding new viewers, begging my existing ones to subscribe. And I appreciate that people do it. It's everything to me that people do it. But I can't not ask for it. I can't not literally beg for it, because that's what Susan makes me do. 2 years ago, you could actually find my channel in search. It was actually getting recommended to new people. Now the only way it's getting recommended, I'm convinced, is when you subscribe, your friends or whatever are getting recommended my channel. That's the only way I'm getting any views. I'm not getting any views from search. It's recommendations, which I think comes from that. That's the best I can understand it. Obviously, I don't have access to the algorithm. Now, Susan Wojcicki advocates for governments to pass laws restricting speech so YouTube can enforce them. What? Wojcicki's anti-free speech stance came during an appearance on Tide TV. What? Susan, make an appearance on my channel. Who is Tide TV? It's Hamburg's YouTube channel as part of a distinguished conversation series, which is moderated by Dr. Matthias C. Kettmann. Wojcicki was joined by Dr. Wolfgang Schulz, the director of the Leibniz Institute for Media Research. During the discussion, Wojcicki revealed that YouTube rolled out an entirely 100% machine automated content moderation system. Shocking why it doesn't work very good. She stated, within a couple of weeks, we actually built a system to move 100% to machines because we knew the lockdowns was coming. You knew? Interesting thing to admit. It's also curious how Disney Plus, the streaming service, launched right away. Launched to coincide when the world got locked down. What a coincidence that was. I'm sure it's nothing though. I'm sure YouTube and Disney having, timing things perfectly to when the entire world got locked down and would be stuck at home is just a coincidence. She then described how their 100% automated system works. Quote, basically, we built the system that worked entirely with machines and used a small set of full-time employees to handle appeals. What's the point of appeals? Every time I've appealed something, it just gets rejected immediately. There's no way anyone's looking at that. When people say, no, you made a mistake, can you check? So we used our full-time employees for that. She went on to admit the strategy did not work out as well as they planned, as they made mistakes and possibly crushed numerous small creators. With those mistakes being made, Wojcicki said they've gone back to using a combination of machines and people. Shocking! He added, so what does work in practice? Perhaps you can elaborate a bit on this. How do you make sure that in light of many different jurisdictions, you have to navigate the minefield between national jurisdictions, between keeping advertisers happy, between keeping users interested? Briefly detailing how their content moderation system works, Ketterman asked her, you've mentioned how important it is that YouTube has in how it has to deal with content, whether to downrank it, to demonetize it, depending on the jurisdiction you're in. In some countries like Germany, courts have taken rather strong opinions on to limit what the platforms can do. How do you deal with that? In response, Wojcicki said, first of all, I'll say that we work around the globe, and you're right. Certainly, there are many different laws in many different jurisdictions. We enforce the laws of the various jurisdictions around speech, or what's considered safe or not safe. That's true for democratically elected governments. It might get a little more complicated in non-democratically governments. So basically, we enforce those laws. I think governments can, she then stated, I think governments can always. Our recommendations, if governments want to have more control of online speech, is to pass laws to have that be very cleanly and clearly defined so that we can implement it. That's like saying, so she's saying, hey, governments, pass more laws to control speech and we'll do your dirty work for you. We're not going to fight for the freedom of speech at all. American-based company that makes most of its money off American dollars. There are times that we see laws being implemented or suggested that they're not necessarily clean or possible for us to cleanly interpret them. And we've also seen sometimes there's laws passed just for the internet as opposed to for all free speech. I think that's a dangerous area when we start to get in and say, oh, sure, you can say something like this in a magazine or on TV, but you can't say it on the internet, she concluded. What? So Wojcicki is saying here, dear daddy government, please pass more rules so we can squash creators even more. What I want out of a CEO on a website that is built around communicating is for her to say, we don't like enforcing any type of restrictions on speech, period. And the only way we'll even consider it is if a government makes it illegal. That's how you should have answered that. Instead of being like, well, hey, government, can you just pass a law? Can you just help us out by making this illegal? That's actually has been the controversial part. She says, what has been the controversial part has been where there is content that would be deemed as harmful, but yet is not illegal. An example of that would be the COOF. I'm not aware of there being laws by the government around the COOF in terms of not being able to debate the efficacy of things, but they ban everybody anyway, right? So YouTube, which is it, Susan? Do you need laws, or are you also just doing whatever you want? I just don't think Susan is the right person, in my opinion, as an employee to run this company anymore. But then again, I'm not the board of directors either, and I'm sure they have a different plan. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.